Top 20 Most Accurate War Movies. War is chaos, it's mud, blood, and the deafening roar of battle. But how much of what we see on screen is true to life? Today we're counting down the top 20 most accurate war movies, films that strip away the Hollywood gloss to show the raw, unfiltered reality of combat. From unrelenting battlefield horrors to the quiet bravery of soldiers, these movies take you closer to the truth than ever before. But are there any films we missed? Stick around and find out if your favorite makes the cut. Let's dive into the heart of war like you've never seen it before. Number 20, All Quiet on the Western Front. The various adaptations of All Quiet on the Western Front, including the groundbreaking 1930 film, the 1979 TV movie, and Netflix's 2022 version, have powerfully conveyed the devastating realities of World War I. Based on Erich Maria Remarque's seminal 1929 novel, the story follows Paul Baumer, a German teenager who enlists in the Imperial Army, lured by nationalist fervor. The film chronicles his harrowing journey from naive patriotism to despair as he witnesses the brutality and futility of war. The 2022 Netflix adaptation, directed by Edward Berger, garnered particular acclaim for its visceral battle scenes and unflinching portrayal of trench warfare. Filmed with meticulous attention to detail, it recreates the chaotic hellscape of the Western Front with stunning realism. Mud-soaked trenches, period-accurate uniforms, and the deafening chaos of combat immerse viewers in a world stripped of humanity. Critics lauded the film's use of sound design, from the relentless gunfire to the haunting silence following artillery barrages, as a sensory reflection of soldiers' trauma. While some lamented its omission of the novel's broader geopolitical critiques, the adaptation retained its anti-war essence, as the stark visuals underscore the dehumanizing nature of modern warfare. Military historian Peter Barton noted, "Rarely has cinema captured the unrelenting grimness of the Great War so faithfully." By shedding light on the emotional and physical toll experienced by ordinary soldiers, the 2022 All Quiet on the Western Front remains a poignant reminder of World War I's catastrophic legacy, making it a vital entry on this list of historically accurate war films. Number 19, The Thin Red Line, and Terrence Malick's The Thin Red Line, 1998, offers a meditative take on the Battle of Guadalcanal, a pivotal campaign in the Pacific theater of World War II. Adapted from James Jones's novel of the same name, this was Malick's return to filmmaking after a 2-decade hiatus. Unlike many war films, The Thin Red Line trades visceral action for a contemplative exploration of war's psychological and spiritual impact. The film juxtaposes the lush beauty of Guadalcanal's tropical landscape with the horrors of conflict, capturing what Malick saw as a paradise lost to human violence. While the film includes vivid portrayals of the battle's chaos and tactical maneuvers, Malick often shifts focus to the natural world. Birds startled by gunfire, fields set aflame, and rivers choked with debris. These moments emphasize war's broader devastation as both humanity and nature bear its scars. Cinematographer John Toll's work elevates the film with sweeping shots of the Pacific island, immersing viewers in its Edenic beauty. Meanwhile, the ensemble cast, featuring Sean Penn, Jim Caviezel, and Nick Nolte, delivers introspective performances reflecting on duty, mortality, and the loss of innocence. Critics were divided on the film's unconventional approach, but its emotional resonance is undeniable. As one reviewer observed, "Some films deal in plot truth. This one expresses emotional truth, the heart's search for saving wisdom." Through its poetic lens, The Thin Red Line invites audiences to reflect on the spiritual cost of war, making it a unique and profoundly human portrayal of the Guadalcanal campaign. Number 18, Haxor Ridge.
To take another man's life, that is the most egregious sin in the Lord's sight.
Mel Gibson's Haxor Ridge, 2016, tells the extraordinary story of Desmond Doss, a conscientious objector who became a combat medic and the first to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. A devout Seventh-day Adventist, Doss refused to bear arms, adhering to his faith's non-violent principles while serving on some of the bloodiest battlefields of World War II. The film focuses on Doss's heroic actions during the Battle of Okinawa, where he saved 75 wounded soldiers from the cliff known as Haxor Ridge. While Haxor Ridge takes some liberties with historical timelines, Doss's heroics at Okinawa were preceded by weeks of rescue efforts and earlier commendable service, earning him 2 Bronze Stars. It captures the essence of his unyielding courage and moral conviction. The battle sequences are especially lauded for their unflinching realism. From relentless artillery bombardments to grisly hand-to-hand combat, the film portrays the chaotic and brutal reality of war. Gibson's direction immerses viewers in the inferno Doss braved without a weapon, carrying wounded comrades to safety under enemy fire. Despite dramatizing some aspects of Doss's life, the film's commitment to authenticity in combat depiction and its heartfelt portrayal of Doss's character earned widespread praise. As historian Stephen Ambrose wrote, Doss's story is almost too incredible to believe, but Haxor Ridge brings it to vivid, visceral life. By spotlighting an unconventional hero who held fast to his principles amidst unimaginable carnage, Haxor Ridge offers a poignant reminder of the varied forms courage can take in war. Number 17, Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World.
Napoleon, your king? No! Want your children to sing the Marseillaise? No!
Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, 2003, directed by Peter Weir, brings Patrick O'Brian's beloved Aubrey Maturin novels to life with remarkable authenticity. Set during the Napoleonic Wars, the film follows Captain Jack Aubrey, Russell Crowe, and ship surgeon Dr. Stephen Maturin, Paul Bettany, aboard the HMS Surprise. Tasked with hunting down a formidable French privateer, the story showcases the peril and camaraderie of life at sea. The film's meticulous attention to historical detail has earned high praise from war historians. From the intricate rigging of the Surprise to the period-accurate uniforms and weaponry, every aspect reflects exhaustive research. Life aboard the vessel is portrayed with unflinching realism. Sailors endure cramped quarters, grueling labor, and the ever-present threat of disease and injury. During combat, the claustrophobic, smoky chaos of cannon fire is vividly captured, immersing viewers in the terror of naval warfare. Weir also highlights the personal dynamics of seafaring life. The relationship between Aubrey, a charismatic and daring leader, and Maturin, a contemplative man of science, offers a poignant contrast to the relentless violence of war. Their friendship grounds the story, reminding viewers of the humanity behind historical conflicts. Critics have lauded the film as one of the most accurate depictions of naval combat ever made. Historian Andrew Lambert observed, "Master and Commander succeeds in bringing the age of fighting sail to the screen with an authenticity that is rarely matched. By blending thrilling action with a nuanced portrayal of 19th century naval life, Master and Commander honors the legacy of those who served during the Napoleonic Wars." Number 16, Rescue Dawn.
From that moment on, little Dieter, he needed to fly.
Werner Herzog's Rescue Dawn, 2006, dramatizes the harrowing true story of Dieter Dengler, a German-American Navy pilot who endured captivity and torture after being shot down during a classified mission over Laos in 1966. Played by Christian Bale, Dengler's resilience and ingenuity anchor the narrative as he navigates the brutal conditions of a Laotian prison camp and orchestrates a daring escape. The film is celebrated for its stark, unflinching portrayal of the physical and psychological toll of imprisonment. Shot in Thailand, Herzog's signature commitment to authenticity is evident in the visceral recreation of the jungle's oppressive heat, the prison camp's squalor, and the brutal treatment meted out by the guards. Bale's transformative performance, including significant weight loss, echoes Dengler's real-life suffering, capturing the relentless deprivation he endured. However, Herzog's creative liberties regarding the escape and the portrayal of Dengler's fellow prisoners sparked controversy. Some families of the other captives criticized the film's depiction of their roles in planning the escape, as well as the omission of key details about their fates. Despite these disputes, many viewers and critics agreed on the film's success in authentically depicting the conditions of Dengler's captivity and the jungle's unforgiving environment. As Herzog himself stated, the jungle is the real star of this film. It's the antagonist. Rescue Dawn serves as a powerful testament to human endurance and the indomitable will to survive, capturing the grim realities of war and captivity in a way that lingers long after the credits roll. Ready for an unforgettable adventure? Drop number 1 in the comments if you're in it for the long haul. Trust me, you won't want to miss the surprises ahead in this video. Number 15, Full Metal Jacket. Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, 1987, is a searing portrayal of the Vietnam War, renowned for its dual-focus narrative. The first act, set at Paris Island, depicts the brutal training regimen of Marine recruits under Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, played with chilling authenticity by R. Lee Ermey, a real-life former drill instructor. The second act transitions to the war-torn streets of Vietnam, showcasing the dehumanizing effects of combat. Ermey's performance is central to the film's accuracy. Initially hired as a technical advisor, he impressed Kubrick with his ability to improvise scathing insults, many of which were incorporated into the final script. His relentless portrayal captures the psychological conditioning and humiliation recruits endured, culminating in a devastating breakdown for Private Leonard Gomer Pyle Lawrence, Vincent D'Onofrio. Kubrick's commitment to realism extended beyond casting. Drawing on years of research, he collaborated with Michael Herr, a war correspondent who authored Dispatches, and Gustav Hasford, whose novel The Short-Timers inspired the screenplay. The combat sequences, filmed in England with meticulously recreated Vietnamese settings, convey the confusion and chaos of urban warfare. Kubrick's attention to detail, from period-accurate weapons to authentic military tactics, cements the film's reputation as a chillingly realistic depiction of Vietnam. Critics have praised its unflinching exploration of war's psychological toll. As Herr remarked, Kubrick didn't just want to show what Vietnam looked like, he wanted to show what it felt like. Full Metal Jacket remains a landmark film, offering a haunting reflection on the training, trauma, and ultimate disillusionment of soldiers during the Vietnam War. Number 14, Lone Survivor.
20 more will die next week, 40 more the week after that.
Lone Survivor, 2013, directed by Peter Berg and based on Marcus Luttrell's memoir, recounts the harrowing ordeal of a four-man Navy SEAL team during Operation Red Wings in 2005. Tasked with surveilling a Taliban leader in Afghanistan's rugged mountains, the team faces a moral dilemma when they encounter unarmed local herdsmen. Opting to release them, the SEALs are soon ambushed by a large Taliban force. The ensuing battle leaves 3 of the 4 SEALs dead, with Luttrell, played by Mark Walberg, narrowly escaping death, ultimately saved by Pashtun villagers who sheltered him. The film is praised for its visceral and realistic portrayal of modern warfare. Shot in New Mexico's rugged terrain, the settings mirror Afghanistan's unforgiving environment. Combat sequences are brutally intense, showcasing the SEALs' desperate fight against overwhelming odds. The sound design, from the echo of gunfire in the mountains to the heavy breathing of exhausted soldiers, immerses viewers in the chaos. While Lone Survivor has faced scrutiny over disputed details, such as the number of Taliban fighters involved, the film's depiction of mountain and forest combat has been widely acknowledged as authentic. The camaraderie and sacrifice among the SEALs are palpable, with powerful performances bringing their courage to life. Director Peter Berg stated, "We wanted to honor the men who fought and fell, and their story's authenticity was our guiding principle." Lone Survivor stands as a gripping tribute to the resilience and valor of US Special Forces, shedding light on the brutal realities of the war in Afghanistan. Number 13, Paths of Glory. Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory, 1957, offers a stark and unrelenting critique of military bureaucracy during World War I. Set on the Western Front, the film stars Kirk Douglas as Colonel Dax, a principled French officer who is ordered to lead his men in a suicidal attack on an impregnable German position. When the assault inevitably fails, Dax's superior, the ruthless General Miraut, demands the execution of 3 randomly chosen soldiers to cover his own incompetence and bolster his reputation. The film stands out for its searing realism and scathing commentary. Kubrick masterfully recreates the horrors of trench warfare, using dynamic tracking shots to plunge viewers into the mud, chaos, and terror of the battlefield. Equally haunting are the sterile, ornate rooms where generals plot their maneuvers, highlighting the stark contrast between the frontline suffering and the detachment of those in power. Governments and militaries condemned Paths of Glory upon its release, banning it in countries like France and from US military bases. Critics, however, recognized its brilliance. Historian Mark Ferro described it as a work of devastating power, laying bare the callousness of war's machinery. More than a war film, Paths of Glory is a timeless indictment of the dehumanization inherent in military hierarchies and the moral dilemmas faced by soldiers. Its enduring legacy reminds audiences of the immense personal cost of war and the enduring struggle against injustice and blind authority. Number 12, Stalingrad. Josef Vilsmeyer's Stalingrad 1993 is a harrowing depiction of one of history's deadliest battles. The film follows a platoon of German Wehrmacht soldiers sent from a tranquil leave in Italy to the unforgiving Russian front. As they face the grinding attrition of the Battle of Stalingrad, they endure combat, frostbite, starvation, and psychological collapse. Unlike many war films, Stalingrad avoids romanticizing combat. Vilsmeyer's lens captures the grim reality of war's cost, from the despair etched into soldiers' faces to the frozen corpses littering the battlefield. The film's visuals are unrelentingly bleak, mirroring the soldiers' slow descent into hopelessness. The unvarnished depiction of disease, frostbite, and the brutal Russian winter conveys that the environment was as much an enemy as the Red Army. The film is notable for its commitment to authenticity. Vilsmeyer drew on detailed historical research to recreate the devastation of Stalingrad, from its shattered urban ruins to the desperate dwindling rations of the German troops. The unflinching focus on individual soldiers' suffering underscores the futility and dehumanization of the Nazi war effort. Critics have hailed Stalingrad as an anti-war masterpiece. As one reviewer noted, this is not a film about heroism but survival. Barely. The lack of spectacle and triumphant resolution drives home the catastrophic human cost of the Eastern Front. By portraying the Battle of Stalingrad through the eyes of ordinary soldiers, Stalingrad offers a sobering reminder of the immense suffering endured during World War II, cementing its place as one of cinema's most poignant anti-war statements. Number 11, Downfall. Downfall 2004, directed by Oliver Hirschbiegel, is an unflinching depiction of Nazi Germany's collapse during the final days of World War II. Set in Hitler's underground bunker as the Soviet army closes in on Berlin, the film draws from eyewitness accounts and memoirs, particularly those of Traudl Juncker, Hitler's secretary. This grounding in historical sources ensures a visceral, authentic portrayal of one of history's darkest chapters. The film's most controversial element is its depiction of Adolf Hitler, played with unsettling nuance by Bruno Ganz. Critics were unsettled by the portrayal of Hitler not as a caricatured monster, but as a deeply flawed and human figure. His moments of vulnerability, crying, raging, and descending into delusion, challenge audiences to confront the unsettling reality that such evil can exist in human form. As screenwriter Bernd Eichinger explained, "The point was to show Hitler as he was because that's what makes him so terrifying. He wasn't a demon. He was a man." The production design meticulously recreates the claustrophobic atmosphere of the Führer bunker, while scenes of Berlin's destruction powerfully convey the apocalyptic reality of the war's end. The film also examines the moral decay of Hitler's inner circle, from blind loyalty to desperate betrayals, as the Nazi regime implodes. By presenting historical truth without embellishment, Downfall forces viewers to grapple with the banality and humanity of evil, making it a powerful and essential portrayal of the war's final chapter and its enduring lessons. Do you think Downfall's use of historical sources and eyewitness accounts makes the film more believable? Comment with yes or no and explain your reasoning. Number 10. Dunkirk. Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk 2017 is a cinematic masterpiece that brings to life one of World War II's most critical events, the evacuation of Allied forces from the beaches of Dunkirk, France, in 1940. Encircled by the German army after the Blitzkrieg overwhelmed France, over 300,000 British and French troops faced annihilation. The film dramatizes this 10-day ordeal, portraying the desperation, courage, and ingenuity that defined Operation Dynamo. Told through interwoven narratives across land, sea, and air, Dunkirk captures the evacuation from multiple perspectives. Soldiers on the beaches endure relentless bombing, civilians in small boats risk their lives to rescue troops, and RAF pilots engage in brief yet intense dogfights to protect the fleeing forces. While Nolan made some concessions for dramatic effect, such as compressing the timeline, veterans praised the film's overall authenticity. The scenes of chaos and dread on the beach, coupled with Hans Zimmer's relentless score, immerse viewers in the tension and uncertainty of the moment. The use of practical effects and period-accurate details adds to the film's realism. From the vintage Spitfires soaring in aerial combat to the recreations of Dunkirk's beaches and harbors, Nolan's dedication to historical fidelity is evident. As one veteran of Dunkirk remarked, "The fear, the noise, and the confusion, it was all there." Dunkirk not only honors the extraordinary courage of those involved, but also underscores the profound stakes of this pivotal event. It is a stirring reminder of how ingenuity and resilience can prevail in the face of overwhelming odds. Number 9, Das Boot. Wolfgang Petersen's Das Boot 1981 is a gripping and claustrophobic portrayal of the harrowing life aboard a German U-boat during the Battle of the Atlantic. Adapted from Lothar Gunther Buchheim's novel, The film chronicles the experiences of the crew of U-96 as they navigate relentless Allied attacks, mechanical failures, and the psychological strain of submarine warfare. To achieve unparalleled authenticity, Peterson employed 2 full-scale replicas of the U-96, allowing for dynamic, tightly confined camera work that immerses viewers in the suffocating environment of the sub. The creaking hull, dimly lit interiors, and the ever-present threat of depth charges amplify the tension, vividly capturing the peril and monotony of life beneath the waves. One of Das Boot's most striking elements is its nuanced depiction of the crew. Unlike stereotypical portrayals of German soldiers as fanatical Nazis, these submariners express disillusionment with the war and disdain for Hitler. Their humanity is evident in their camaraderie, humor, and vulnerability, underscoring that not all Germans supported the Nazi regime. This complexity forces audiences to confront the universal toll of war, devoid of simplistic heroism or villainy. Critics and veterans have praised Das Boot for its realism. Former submariners lauded the film as one of the most accurate depictions of submarine warfare, with its attention to detail in technical operations and the psychological burden borne by the crew. Number 8, 1917. Sam Mendes' 1917-2019 is a visceral and immersive depiction of World War I, inspired by the wartime experiences of Mendes' grandfather, Alfred Mendes. The film follows Private Schofield, George Mackay, and Blake Dean Charles Chapman on a perilous mission to deliver a message that could save 1,600 men from walking into a German trap. What sets 1917 apart is its groundbreaking cinematography, crafted by the legendary Roger Deakins. Shot to appear as a single continuous take, the film pulls viewers into the soldiers' journey, making them feel as though they are walking alongside the protagonists. This technique heightens the sense of immediacy and danger, immersing audiences in the chaotic and grim realities of trench warfare. While the story takes creative liberties, its portrayal of the physical and psychological toll of combat is strikingly authentic. The film's production design vividly recreates the desolate battlefields of the Western Front, complete with labyrinthine trenches, decaying bodies, and the omnipresent mud and barbed wire. As one Military Times critic remarked, "War is hideous. Mud, rats, decaying horses, and corpses mired in interminable mazes of barbed wire." The focus on 2 young soldiers personalizes the war's horror, showing the monumental risks ordinary men faced in service of larger strategic goals. Their fear, exhaustion, and determination are palpable, bringing a deeply human perspective to the global conflict. Number 7, We Were Soldiers. Randall Wallace's We Were Soldiers, 2002, brings to life the harrowing story of the Battle of Ia Drang, the first major confrontation between the US Army and the North Vietnamese Army during the Vietnam War. Based on the memoir We Were Soldiers Once and Young by Lieutenant General Hal Moore and journalist Joseph L. Galloway, the film captures the intense 3-day battle fought in November 1965. Determined to correct Hollywood's past missteps in portraying war, Wallace consulted extensively with Moore, Galloway, and other veterans to ensure authenticity. The film dives into the chaos of combat with unflinching realism, depicting the unrelenting violence, confusion, and camaraderie among soldiers. From the deafening roar of helicopters to the gritty portrayal of hand-to-hand combat, the immersive sound design and dynamic cinematography place viewers directly on the battlefield. Mel Gibson's portrayal of Moore conveys the resolve and humanity of a leader who stood alongside his men in the heat of battle. The inclusion of Galloway's perspective, played by Barry Pepper, underscores the role of war correspondents and the profound emotional toll the conflict exacted on participants. While the film takes some liberties, such as altering the timeline of events in its closing scenes, Moore himself praised the adaptation, saying, "This movie got it right." Number 6, Glory. Glory 1989 brings to light the inspiring yet often overlooked story of the 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment, one of the first African-American units to fight for the Union during the American Civil War. Led by Colonel Robert Gould Shaw, Matthew Broderick, the regiment faced not only the horrors of war but also the racism and prejudice of the era. The film draws heavily from Shaw's personal letters, grounding its narrative in historical authenticity. It vividly portrays the journey of the 54th, from their recruitment and training to their valiant assault on Fort Wagner in South Carolina. This climactic battle, though a strategic defeat for the Union, became a symbol of the courage and sacrifice of African-American soldiers, paving the way for their broader inclusion in the war effort. Director Edward Zwick's attention to detail captures both the brutality of Civil War combat and the systemic injustices faced by black soldiers, including unequal pay and limited supplies. The cast delivers unforgettable performances, particularly Denzel Washington, whose portrayal of Private Tripp earned him an Academy Award, and Morgan Freeman, who embodies leadership and dignity as Sergeant Major Rawlins. While some minor historical inaccuracies exist, such as certain details of the Fort Wagner assault, the film's commitment to its themes remains intact. As historian James McPherson noted, glory does more than recount a battle, it illustrates the struggles and triumphs of African Americans fighting for freedom and equality. Number 5, Come and See. Elim Klimov's Come and See, 1985, is a haunting portrayal of the Nazi occupation of Belarus, widely regarded as one of the most realistic and harrowing war films ever made. The film follows a young boy, Fliora Alexei Kravchenko, whose naive eagerness to join the resistance against the German invaders transforms into a nightmare as he witnesses unspeakable atrocities, culminating in a depiction of the Katyn massacre. Klimov's commitment to authenticity is evident throughout the production. Co-written with Alice Adamovich, whose book was based on first-hand survivor accounts, the film draws deeply from the real-life horrors of the Belarusian genocide. Shot on location in Belarus, Come and See used villagers as extras, and the production employed real Nazi uniforms to enhance historical accuracy. In some scenes, actual bullets were fired near the actors, adding to the visceral intensity of the performances. The film eschews traditional narrative structure for a surreal, almost hallucinatory experience, immersing viewers in Flyora's descent into the unimaginable. Alexei Kravchenko's haunting portrayal, including moments of unfiltered terror and heartbreak, underscores the psychological scars inflicted on children during wartime. Come and See is unflinching in its depiction of Nazi atrocities, particularly the climactic scene where villagers, including women and children, are burned alive. As Klimov stated, "It's not just about war, it's about the loss of innocence and the destruction of humanity." On a scale of 0 to 5, how would you rate the emotional intensity of Come and See's portrayal of the Nazi occupation of Belarus? Comment with a number below. Number 4, Platoon. Oliver Stone's Platoon, 1986, is a raw and unflinching depiction of the Vietnam War, drawn from the director's own experiences as an infantryman. As the first film in Stone's Vietnam War trilogy, it presents a deeply personal and harrowing perspective of the conflict, exploring both the physical brutality of combat and the psychological toll it exacted on soldiers. The story follows Chris Taylor, Charlie Sheen, a young volunteer thrust into the chaos of Vietnam, where he witnesses not only the horrors of war, but also the moral ambiguities and divisions among his fellow soldiers. The rivalry between two sergeants, Elias, Willem Dafoe, a compassionate leader, and Barnes, Tom Berenger, a ruthless pragmatist, symbolizes the broader ethical struggles within the platoon and the war itself. Stone's obsessive attention to authenticity brought Vietnam to life with unparalleled realism. The film was shot in the Philippines, where imported red dirt replicated Vietnam's landscape, and the cast underwent a grueling 30-day training regimen under Dale Dye, a Vietnam veteran. The immersive experience helped actors embody the exhaustion, fear, and camaraderie of soldiers. As Dye noted, viewers often told him, "I never understood your experience or why you didn't want to talk about it until I saw Platoon." The film's gritty realism, coupled with Stone's unflinching honesty, earned it critical acclaim and 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Platoon stands as one of the most authentic portrayals of Vietnam, serving as both a powerful anti-war statement and a tribute to the soldiers who endured its horrors. Number 3, Blackhawk Down. Ridley Scott's Blackhawk Down, 2001, offers a gripping and relentless depiction of the Battle of Mogadishu, a harrowing 1993 mission in Somalia, in which US forces attempted to capture key lieutenants of a Somali warlord. Based on Mark Bowden's meticulously researched non-fiction book, the film thrusts audiences into the chaos of urban warfare, portraying the intensity and unpredictability of combat with documentary-like precision. Scott's direction, combined with Slawomir Idziak's visceral cinematography, immerses viewers in the disorienting and deadly nature of the conflict. From the moment 2 Black Hawk helicopters are shot down, the film captures the terrifying vulnerability of soldiers pinned down in an urban labyrinth, facing waves of armed militia. The gritty realism extends to the production, with the cast undergoing military training and working alongside real soldiers to foster an authentic sense of camaraderie. This brotherhood is central to the film, highlighting the resilience and sacrifice of the soldiers who fought against overwhelming odds. While the film was praised for its technical accuracy and compelling portrayal of US troops, it has been criticized for downplaying the contributions of Malaysian and Pakistani forces who played pivotal roles in the rescue operation. Despite this omission, Blackhawk Down succeeds in capturing the ground-level perspective of modern warfare. Number 2, Letters from Iwo Jima. Clint Eastwood's Letters from Iwo Jima, 2006, offers a groundbreaking perspective on the Battle of Iwo Jima by focusing on the Japanese soldiers defending the island, serving as a companion piece to Flags of Our Fathers, which depicted the battle from the American viewpoint. This film dives into the experiences, struggles, and humanity of the Japanese troops, led by General Tadamichi Kuribayashi, portrayed with depth and gravitas by Ken Watanabe. The screenplay is rooted in Kuribayashi's real-life letters and memoirs, lending the film remarkable historical authenticity. Several of Kuribayashi's direct quotes and strategic philosophies are woven into the narrative, showcasing his efforts to adapt unconventional tactics against the overwhelming might of the US forces. The film's dialogue is entirely in Japanese, a choice that underscores Eastwood's commitment to cultural and historical fidelity. Shot on location with meticulous attention to detail, the film captures the stark, volcanic landscape of Iwo Jima, reflecting the bleak conditions faced by the defenders. The narrative is unflinching in its portrayal of the psychological and physical toll of war, emphasizing the soldiers' fear, sacrifice, and moral conflicts. Critics and historians alike have lauded Letters from Iwo Jima for its nuanced storytelling. By humanizing the Japanese soldiers, the film challenges traditional narratives, reminding viewers of the shared suffering and complexities of war. As Eastwood explained, war is not just about battles, it's about people. Number 1, Saving Private Ryan. Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan, 1998, is widely regarded as one of the most realistic depictions of war ever committed to film. The movie opens with a harrowing 27-minute reenactment of the D-Day landings at Omaha Beach on June 6, 1944. This visceral sequence, featuring seasick soldiers, relentless machine gun fire, and chaotic carnage, is so authentic that it triggered PTSD symptoms in some veterans who watched it. Spielberg opted for a documentary-style approach, using handheld cameras and desaturated colors to create a sense of immediacy. To ensure historical accuracy, 1,500 extras, including actual amputees, participated in the Omaha Beach scenes, and Spielberg eschewed storyboards, allowing the action to unfold organically. Every detail, from the clinking of gear to the choking terror of drowning soldiers, contributes to the sequence's raw power. Top 20 celebrities that went to prison, 2025 update.
Quit playing. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
Attention all fame watchers, what happens when Hollywood's brightest stars trade designer suits for prison jumpsuits? From shocking crimes to jaw-dropping scandals, these stories will leave you speechless. You've seen the glitz and glam, now discover the dark secrets behind the fame. Who fell from grace and why? Stick around, because Iconic Inside is diving deep into the celebrities who swapped red carpets for cold, hard cells. Are you ready to uncover the truth? Let's get started. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, once celebrated as the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history, experienced a tumultuous career marked by both athletic triumph and personal controversy. Known for his ferocious fighting style and iconic victories, Tyson's career began to unravel in 1991 when he was convicted of rape. The charges stemmed from an incident involving Desiree Washington, a Miss Black America contestant, in an Indianapolis hotel room. On February 10, 1992, Tyson was sentenced to 6 years in prison and 4 years of probation. He served his sentence at the Indiana Youth Center, now the Plainfield Correctional Facility, and was released in March 1995 after serving 3 years. During his incarceration, Tyson converted to Islam, adopting the name Malik Abdulaziz. He spent much of his time reading philosophy, studying the Quran, and reflecting on his life. His behavior in prison was reported as cooperative, and he was credited with good conduct, leading to his early release. Post-release, Tyson attempted to reclaim his boxing career, achieving moderate success, but failing to reach his prior dominance. In recent years, Tyson has pivoted to business ventures, including a successful cannabis company and a popular podcast, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. He has openly discussed his past mistakes, stating in a 2024 interview, "Prison taught me humility. I'm not proud of my actions, but I've tried to grow from them." Tyson's journey is a complex narrative of redemption, as he continues to advocate for mental health awareness and personal accountability while rebuilding his legacy. Amy Locane, best known for her roles in the 1992 film Cry Baby, alongside Johnny Depp, and the television series Melrose Place, faced a dramatic fall from grace due to her involvement in a tragic car accident. On June 27, 2010, Locane was driving under the influence when she collided with another vehicle in Montgomery Township, New Jersey, killing Helene Seaman and severely injuring Seaman's husband, Fred. Locane's blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times the legal limit at the time of the crash. In November 2012, Locane was convicted of vehicular homicide and assault by auto. She was initially sentenced to 3 years in prison, a term that sparked widespread criticism for its perceived leniency. After multiple appeals and resentencing hearings, Locane ultimately served over 8 years, spending time at the Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women in New Jersey. During her incarceration, Locane participated in substance abuse programs and worked to educate others about the dangers of drunk driving. In a 2025 interview, she expressed deep remorse, stating, "Not a day goes by that I don't think about the Seaman family and the pain I've caused. I'm committed to making amends however I can." Since her release, Locane has focused on rebuilding her life, working with advocacy groups to raise awareness about DUI consequences. She has largely stayed out of the spotlight, emphasizing her dedication to sobriety and community service as she works toward personal redemption. Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, a once powerful Hollywood producer behind films like Pulp Fiction and Shakespeare in Love, saw his career collapse amidst numerous allegations of sexual misconduct. In October 2017, investigative reports revealed decades of accusations against Weinstein, sparking the #MeToo movement. By 2020, Weinstein was convicted in New York on charges of third-degree rape and a first-degree criminal sexual act. On March 11, 2020, he was sentenced to 23 years in prison. Weinstein initially served his sentence at Rikers Island before being transferred to the Venda Correctional Facility in New York. During his incarceration, Weinstein faced additional charges in Los Angeles related to sexual assault allegations, leading to further legal battles. In February 2023, he was convicted of 3 additional counts of rape and sexual assault in California, adding a 16-year sentence to his existing prison term. Weinstein's time in prison has been marked by health issues, including heart problems and spinal conditions, which he cited during court appearances. Despite appeals, his convictions have been upheld, and he remains incarcerated. Weinstein has consistently denied all allegations, claiming his encounters were consensual. As of 2025, Weinstein's influence in Hollywood is irrevocably destroyed. His case remains a pivotal moment in the fight against sexual harassment and abuse of power. A former colleague remarked, "Harvey's downfall isn't just his story, it's a reckoning for the entire industry." Ryan Grantham. Ryan Grantham, a former Canadian actor known for his roles in Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Riverdale, faced a shocking legal case that upended his career. On March 31, 2020, Grantham was arrested for the second-degree murder of his mother, Barbara Waite. The incident occurred at their home in Squamish, British Columbia, where Grantham, then 21 years old, shot Waite in the back of the head while she played the piano. Following the murder, Grantham recorded a video confession and detailed his plans to commit further violence, including plotting to harm public figures. In March 2022, Grantham pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. On September 22, 2022, he was sentenced to life in prison with eligibility for parole after 14 years. He is currently incarcerated at a federal facility in British Columbia. During sentencing, the court acknowledged Grantham's struggles with mental health, including depression and suicidal ideation, which had been untreated at the time of the crime. In prison, Grantham has reportedly engaged in therapy and mental health programs aimed at addressing his psychological issues. A statement from his lawyer emphasized his remorse. Ryan deeply regrets his actions and is committed to understanding the consequences of his crime. Grantham remains incarcerated and has largely retreated from the public eye. The tragic case serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of untreated mental illness and the devastating impact it can have on families. His former co-stars and fans have expressed shock and sadness over the incident. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr., celebrated for his roles in Iron Man and Sherlock Holmes, endured a highly publicized battle with addiction that derailed his career in the late 1990s. Downey's legal troubles began in 1996 when he was arrested in Malibu for possession of heroin, cocaine, and an unloaded firearm. Despite multiple stints in rehab, his struggles continued, culminating in a 1999 arrest after missing a court-ordered drug test. He was sentenced to 3 years in the California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility and State Prison in Corcoran, but served roughly 1 year, being released in 2000 due to good behavior and overcrowding. In prison, Downey focused on rehabilitation, working in the kitchen and attending group therapy sessions. He later credited this period as a turning point in his life, saying, "Jail was the harshest lesson I could have received. It broke me down to rebuild me." Despite his release, he faced further relapses and arrests before finally achieving sobriety in 2003. Downey's comeback is one of Hollywood's most inspiring stories. He earned widespread acclaim and financial success with his portrayal of Tony Stark in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a role that began in 2008 and redefined his career. Downey has since become an advocate for recovery, helping to destigmatize addiction through interviews and philanthropy. As of 2025, Downey remains a symbol of resilience and redemption. Beyond acting, he focuses on environmental initiatives through his Footprint Coalition and continues to inspire others by sharing his story of overcoming adversity and embracing accountability. Join me on this journey and let's explore together. Comment number 1 to let me know you'll be watching till the end. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming up in this video. Skyler Delon. Skyler Delon, a former child actor who appeared in the 1990s series Power Rangers, is infamous for his involvement in one of California's most chilling murder cases. Delon, alongside accomplices, orchestrated the 2004 murder of Tom and Jackie Hawks, a couple selling their yacht to steal their assets. Under the guise of purchasing the yacht, Delon and the group forced the couple to sign over ownership documents before tying them to an anchor and throwing them overboard alive off the coast of Newport Beach. The case shocked the nation as investigators uncovered Delon's financial struggles and history of fraud, which included forging military documents. Arrested in 2005, Delon was convicted of first-degree murder in 2008 and sentenced to death. The trial revealed his manipulative nature and lack of remorse, with the court emphasizing the premeditated and brutal nature of the crime. Delon is currently on death row at San Quentin State Prison in California. His time in prison has been marked by isolation and limited interaction with other inmates. In an interview, he admitted his crimes but blamed his troubled upbringing and alleged abuse for his actions, a claim that failed to garner sympathy. Delon remains a controversial figure with legal appeals underway but little chance of overturning his conviction. The murder of the Hawks couple continues to serve as a cautionary tale of betrayal and greed. Survivors and advocates for the victims remember Tom and Jackie as a loving couple whose lives were tragically cut short. Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart, a domestic icon celebrated for her lifestyle empire, found herself at the center of a highly publicized legal drama in the early 2000s. The founder of Martha Stewart Living Omnimedia was accused of insider trading after selling her shares in ImClone Systems based on non-public information. This transaction occurred just before the company's stock value plummeted, triggering an investigation by federal authorities. In March 2004, Stewart was convicted of conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and making false statements to investigators. She was sentenced to 5 months in federal prison, 5 months of home confinement, and 2 years of supervised release. Stewart served her prison term at the Federal Correctional Institution in Alderson, West Virginia, often referred to as Camp Cupcake. During her incarceration, she maintained a low profile, reportedly teaching yoga to fellow inmates and engaging in craft projects, which underscored her resourcefulness. Upon release in March 2005, Stewart wasted no time revitalizing her career. She re-entered the public sphere with determination, launching new television programs and expanding her brand into home goods, food products, and publishing. Reflecting on her experience, she commented, "I've learned that resilience and integrity are critical, even in the face of great challenges." Stewart's ability to rebuild her reputation highlighted her entrepreneurial spirit and adaptability. Today, her legacy includes not only her business achievements, but also her embodiment of reinvention, as she continues to inspire audiences with her creativity and expertise in homemaking and beyond.
Joe Sun.
Joe Sun, a former mixed martial artist and actor best known for his role in the film Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, fell from public favor due to his involvement in a harrowing criminal case. In 2008, Sun was charged with participating in the brutal gang rape and torture of a woman on Christmas Eve in 1990. The case resurfaced after a DNA match linked him to the crime during an unrelated probation violation investigation. In 2011, Sun was convicted of felony torture and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The court proceedings revealed the extent of the trauma inflicted on the victim, who testified about the psychological and physical scars she endured. The verdict underscored the severity of Sun's actions and the long-lasting impact on those affected. Sun's time in prison has been marked by further controversy. In October 2011, he was accused of murdering his cellmate, Michael Thomas Graham, who had been serving time for a parole violation. Reports indicated that Graham was found dead, with signs of violent assault, and Sun was subsequently charged with the crime. He was later convicted of voluntary manslaughter in 2017, adding another 27 years to his life sentence. Sun's descent into infamy serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of unchecked violence and criminal behavior. His former career in entertainment has been completely overshadowed by his egregious acts, leaving behind a legacy marred by brutality and legal infamy. O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson, a former NFL star and actor, is infamous for his involvement in one of the most sensational trials in American history. Simpson rose to fame as a record-breaking running back and later transitioned to acting, starring in films like the Naked Gun series. However, his life took a dark turn in 1994 when he was accused of murdering his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman, outside her Los Angeles home. The 1995 trial, dubbed the Trial of the Century, ended with Simpson's acquittal, though he was later found liable for the deaths in a civil trial and ordered to pay $33.5 million in damages. The legal battles left his reputation tarnished, and public opinion remained divided. In 2008, Simpson faced further legal trouble when he was convicted of armed robbery and kidnapping after attempting to retrieve sports memorabilia he claimed was stolen from him. The incident occurred at a Las Vegas hotel, and Simpson was sentenced to 33 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 9 years. He served his time at the Lovelock Correctional Center in Nevada and was granted parole in 2017. Since his release, Simpson has maintained a low profile, occasionally making headlines for his social media presence. Reflecting on his incarceration, Simpson has stated, "I've tried to move forward, staying out of trouble and focusing on family." His legacy remains a complex mix of athletic greatness, overshadowed by legal and personal controversies. Zara Fitzpatrick. Zara Fitzpatrick, a British martial artist and actress known for her role in Doctor Strange, faced a dramatic fall from grace in 2022. She and her husband, Victor Mark, were convicted of sexually abusing a teenage girl. Nottingham Crown Court found Fitzpatrick guilty of 14 counts of sexual activity with a child between 2005 and 2008, while Mark was convicted of the same 14 offences, along with 4 further charges related to indecently assaulting another girl in 2002 and 2003. Fitzpatrick received an 8-year sentence. and Mark was sentenced to 14 years. Both were placed on the sex offenders register and subjected to a sexual harm prevention order. Fithian served her sentence at HMP Foston Hall. During the trial, the victim detailed the systematic abuse she endured, describing how the couple groomed and manipulated her. Fithian maintained her innocence throughout the proceedings, with her lawyer arguing that the accusations were fabricated. However, the jury ultimately sided with the prosecution, which presented compelling evidence of the couple's predatory behavior. Fithian's prison experience has been largely kept out of the public eye. As of 2025, Fithian has been released from prison. Her future plans and prospects remain uncertain. The damage to her career and reputation is severe, and the long-term impact of her conviction continues to unfold. These are the sort of cases that simply stay with you, a source close to the case noted, reflecting on the gravity of the offenses and their lasting repercussions. Sean Diddy Combs. Sean Diddy Combs, the renowned rapper, producer, and entrepreneur, has faced serious legal challenges in recent years, impacting his extensive career, marked by successes with artists like the Notorious Big and Mary J. Blige. As of December 29, 2024, Combs is incarcerated at the Metropolitan Detention Center, Brooklyn, without bond. He faces charges related to sex trafficking, kidnapping, drugging, and coercing women into sexual activities, sometimes involving firearms and threats of violence. These allegations are detailed in several sources, including BBC News reports. Combs has been denied bail multiple times, with accusations of attempting to contact witnesses from jail. Beyond the aforementioned charges, Combs is also embroiled in a separate legal battle. An Alabama woman has accused him and Jay-Z of raping her when she was 13. A federal judge recently ruled that the woman can proceed anonymously with her lawsuit. This legal proceeding is ongoing as of December 2024. Combs has consistently denied all charges against him. However, the gravity of the allegations and his ongoing incarceration have significantly impacted his public image and career. His legal representation has maintained his innocence, but the legal proceedings are complex and expected to continue into 2025 and beyond. No statement from Combs directly addressing the charges is publicly available as of December 29, 2024. The situation remains fluid, and the outcomes of these legal battles will undoubtedly shape the next chapter of Combs' life and career. Do you think the severity of the allegations against Sean Diddy Combs warrants his denial of bail? Comment below with yes or no and share your thoughts on the situation. Ian Watkins. Ian Watkins, former lead singer of the Welsh rock band Lost Prophets, was a prominent figure in the early 2000s alternative rock scene. His career came to an abrupt end in December 2013 when he was sentenced to 29 years in prison, plus 6 years on extended license for a series of horrific sex offenses against children, including the attempted rape of a baby. He also pleaded guilty to charges involving indecent images of children and possessing an extreme pornographic image involving an animal. The offenses occurred between 2007 and 2012. Initially held at HM Prison Park in Bridgend, Wales, Watkins was later transferred to HM Prison Wakefield in West Yorkshire. Watkins' crimes shocked the music world and his former bandmates, who expressed their disgust and immediately disbanded Lost Prophets. The trial revealed the disturbing extent of Watkins' predatory behavior, facilitated by 2 female accomplices who were also sentenced to lengthy prison terms. During sentencing, Mr. Justice Royce described Watkins as a committed, organized pedophile and the case as breaking new ground in its depravity. Any decent person will experience shock, revulsion, and incredulity, the judge stated. While incarcerated, Watkins received an additional 10-month sentence in 2019 for possession of a mobile phone. In August 2023, he was reportedly stabbed by fellow inmates at HMP Wakefield, though his injuries were not life-threatening. Today, Watkins remains incarcerated. His parole eligibility begins in 2031, after serving 2/3 of his 29-year term. R. Kelly. R. Kelly, the Grammy-winning artist behind hits like I Believe I Can Fly and Ignition Remix, experienced a dramatic fall from grace due to decades of allegations involving sexual misconduct and abuse. Once celebrated as an R&B icon, Kelly's career became overshadowed by mounting accusations of exploiting underage girls and young women. His legal troubles culminated in his 2019 arrest on federal charges, including child pornography, racketeering, and sex trafficking. In 2021, Kelly was convicted in New York on 9 counts of racketeering and violations of the Mann Act, which prohibits the transportation of individuals for illegal sexual activity. Witness testimonies painted a horrifying picture of systematic abuse, manipulation, and exploitation spanning decades. In June 2022, he was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison. Kelly also faced separate charges in Chicago, where he was convicted in 2022 of producing child pornography and enticing minors into illegal sexual acts, resulting in an additional 20-year sentence, some of which will run consecutively. Kelly is incarcerated at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, where reports suggest he has struggled with the adjustment to prison life. He continues to deny all wrongdoing and has filed appeals against his convictions, but public opinion remains overwhelmingly critical. His victims have expressed relief at his sentencing, viewing it as long overdue justice. Once a towering figure in the music industry, Kelly's legacy is now irreparably tarnished. His case has spurred broader conversations about accountability, power dynamics in the entertainment industry, and the importance of protecting survivors of abuse. War Machine. War Machine, born Jonathan Paul Koppenhaver, is a former professional mixed martial artist known for competing in Bellator and the UFC. His promising career in combat sports was overshadowed by a violent incident that led to his downfall. In 2014, War Machine brutally assaulted his ex-girlfriend, adult film actress Christy Mack, and her friend Corey Thomas in her Las Vegas home. The attack left Mack with severe injuries, including broken bones, missing teeth, and a ruptured liver. Koppenhaver fled after the assault, prompting a nationwide manhunt before being apprehended in California. During his 2017 trial, he faced 34 felony charges, including kidnapping, sexual assault, and attempted murder. The jury found him guilty of 29 charges, and he was sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 36 years. While incarcerated at High Desert State Prison in Nevada, Koppenhaver has expressed remorse for his actions in various interviews. He has attributed his violent behavior to untreated mental health issues and a history of abusive relationships. He wrote in a 2018 letter, "I hate the man I became, and I'm determined to never let him exist again." Despite his statements, the severity of his crimes has left little room for public sympathy. Mack has become an advocate for domestic violence survivors, using her experience to raise awareness and support others. Koppenhaver's case remains a cautionary tale of unchecked aggression and the devastating consequences of domestic abuse. His once promising career is now defined by his criminal actions. Mark Walberg. Mark Walberg, now a celebrated actor and producer known for films like The Departed and Boogie Nights, has a past marked by criminal activity during his youth. Growing up in Boston, Walberg faced numerous legal troubles, including charges of assault and violence. At the age of 16, he committed a racially motivated attack on 2 Vietnamese men, an incident that would later haunt him, despite his rise to stardom. In 1988, Walberg was charged with assault and attempted murder after striking one man with a wooden stick and punching another in an unprovoked attack. One of the victims, Johnny Trin, was left partially blind in one eye. Walberg pleaded guilty to felony assault and was sentenced to 2 years in prison, though he served only 45 days at the Deer Island House of Correction in Massachusetts. Following his release, Walberg made a concerted effort to turn his life around. He first found fame as the frontman of Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, before transitioning to acting, where he achieved critical and commercial success. Reflecting on his troubled past, Walberg has acknowledged his mistakes, stating, "I did terrible things I deeply regret, and I've spent my life trying to make amends." In recent years, Walberg has focused on philanthropy, particularly through his Mark Walberg Youth Foundation, which supports at-risk youth. While his criminal past remains a blemish on his record, his journey of redemption underscores his commitment to personal growth and accountability. Joe Exotic, born Joseph Allen Maldonado Passage, rose to fame as the flamboyant operator of the Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park in Oklahoma and the star of Netflix's hit series Tiger King Murder, Mayhem and Madness. Known for his eccentric personality and love of big cats, Exotic's fame turned to infamy when he became embroiled in a plot to murder his rival, animal rights activist Carol Baskin. In 2019, Exotic was convicted on multiple charges, including 2 counts of murder for hire and 17 federal charges of animal abuse under the Endangered Species Act. Prosecutors alleged that Exotic paid 2 individuals to kill Baskin, though neither followed through with the plan. Additionally, he was found guilty of euthanizing tigers at his zoo to make room for other animals and selling cubs in violation of federal law. He was sentenced to 22 years in federal prison. While incarcerated, Exotic continued to proclaim his innocence, launching numerous appeals and even seeking a presidential pardon. In 2021, a federal court reduced his sentence to 21 years following a resentencing hearing. Exotic also revealed he had been diagnosed with cancer, prompting renewed public interest in his case. Despite his incarceration, Exotic remains a controversial figure. He has leveraged his notoriety to maintain a social media presence and release merchandise. Reflecting on his time in prison, he stated, "I may be in here, but my voice is louder than ever." His story, marked by ambition, rivalry, and legal downfall, continues to captivate audiences worldwide. DMX. DMX, born Earl Simmons, was a legendary rapper and actor whose gritty lyrics and raw energy earned him a devoted following. Rising to fame in the late 1990s with hits like Rough Riders Anthem and Party Up in Here, DMX was one of the most iconic figures in hip-hop. However, his career was often overshadowed by legal troubles and personal struggles, including addiction and financial issues. In 2017, DMX was arrested on charges of tax evasion after the federal government alleged he had concealed millions of dollars in income to avoid paying $1.7 million in taxes. Prosecutors accused him of using cash transactions and accounts in other people's names to evade financial obligations. Simmons pleaded guilty to 1 count of tax fraud and in 2018 was sentenced to 1 year in federal prison. He served his time at FCI Gilmer in West Virginia and was released in January 2019. During his incarceration, DMX reportedly sought to focus on personal growth and spirituality, which had long been central themes in his music. Upon his release, he expressed a desire to reunite with his family and return to the studio. Speaking about his experience, he said, "I learned to be more mindful of how I move and take responsibility for my actions." Tragically, DMX passed away in April 2021 after suffering a heart attack caused by a drug overdose. His death highlighted the struggles he faced throughout his life, but his legacy as a trailblazing artist and cultural icon remains enduring. Jared Fogle. Jared Fogle, once a recognizable face synonymous with Subway's weight loss success stories, is now a convicted sex offender serving a 15-year, 8-month federal prison sentence. Fogle rose to fame in 2000 after losing a significant amount of weight, attributing his success to a diet incorporating Subway sandwiches. This led to a lucrative endorsement deal, turning him into the Subway Guy, a ubiquitous presence in the company's advertising campaigns for 15 years. Fogle's public image crumbled in 2015 when he was investigated by the FBI and subsequently charged with distributing and receiving child pornography and engaging in commercial sex acts with minors. He pleaded guilty to these charges in November 2015. The investigation also revealed his involvement with the Jared Foundation, ostensibly aimed at combating childhood obesity, but which prosecutors alleged was used as a front for his illicit activities. He was sentenced to 15 years and 8 months in federal prison, fined $225,000, and ordered to pay $1.4 million in restitution to his victims. He is currently incarcerated at the Federal Correctional Institution, Englewood in Colorado. His earliest possible release date is July 11, 2029. Fogle's case shocked the public and severely damaged Subway's brand image, forcing the company to swiftly terminate its relationship with him. His true colors are disgusting and repulsive, a source close to the case remarked, underscoring the sense of betrayal felt by those who once admired him. The case also brought renewed attention to the issue of child exploitation and the importance of vigilance in protecting vulnerable individuals. War leaves scars on the battlefield in history and in the hearts of those who fight. These movies remind us of the courage, sacrifice, and humanity buried beneath the chaos. They teach us that war isn't about glory, it's about survival, resilience, and understanding the true cost of conflict. If this list moved you, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Did your favorite war movie make the cut? Don't forget to like and subscribe to Iconic Inside for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. Hit the bell so you never miss an upload. And before you go, check out our previous video, 20 Most Evil Actors in Hollywood History. Trust us, it'll leave you with some jaw-dropping revelations. Click it now on the end screen. You won't want to miss this. See you next time.